Welcome to another episode of The American Dream. And let me tell you, this is the last episode of The American Dream. Well, at least the current version. We have reformatted the show. We are going a whole new direction, faster pace, new format, really exciting, out on the street. This is the last time you're going to see me wearing this suit, to be honest with you. Check out our new show open as a preview to what's going to start next week. Let's start the show right now.
We do it in the spirit of going against the grain in the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about the show? It's totally unscripted.
Welcome to The American Dream. We're excited to have back in the studio again Kathy Fettke. She is the CEO of Real Wealth Network. Great to have you here, Kathy.
Thank you.
I said the name right, too,
You
didn't
did.
I?
Real Wealth Network. Yes, it's a mouthful.
I love it. I know you've been in here before, and they've had some great conversations. You've talked with many of our hosts. But today, I want to ask you what's going on with rising interest rates. How is that affecting the market from your perspective?
Well, in a lot of places, it is doing what it's supposed to do, which is slow it down a little bit. Home prices have been on a tear for 10 years. And normally, everything is cyclical about every 10 years. So if you remember, exactly 10 years ago.
Oh, we remember.
You remember! Something happened in 2008 that a lot of people remember. There was a complete housing meltdown. So people are asking, oh boy, are we headed for that? Because there is a bit of a slowdown. What a lot of people don't understand is when the Federal Reserve raises rates, there's one reason, and that is to slow things down because it's moving too fast. Prices can't accelerate at a 10%, 20% clip every year forever. It just can't work. So rising interest rates, slow it down. You just need to expect it. There shouldn't be all these headlines saying, oh my gosh, housing is slowing down. That's the point.
The hype isn't necessary.
It isn't. But there's a positive and negative to everything. If you own an asset, if you bought housing in the last 10 years, you've seen equity growth. If you haven't bought anything, it's been almost impossible to get into the market these past few years. So now as that's reversing a bit, those who have been trying to get in are going to have a little bit of a better chance because prices will slow down. The price growth will hopefully slow down a little.
So it seems only fair, which then, to ask the question then, is it a good time to buy?
It's always a good question. And some real estate agents will say, of course, it's always a good time to buy, right? It depends on where you are. And it depends on you and what you're looking for. So if you are looking to settle down, have a family, get married, stay there for a long time, historically, prices continue to rise over time, and you're going to raise your family. So as long as you can make the payment and that's a comfortable place to live and raise your kids, do it. Over time, it will pay off, and you'll pay off that loan as well instead of just paying rent. But if you're not sure, and you might be moving or you might sell in the next couple of years, I might consider either renting where you want to live and investing elsewhere, which is really what we're known for, is saying, hey, you don't necessarily have to buy real estate right where you live. For example, in San Francisco, we know it's peaked. It has gone way over what's affordable for any normal person, and even a not normal person. Even if you make $200,000 or $300,000 a year, you're struggling to own a home there. So maybe now, not now, and again, unless you're going to hold it for 30 years. Right. But maybe instead you could live in San Francisco and rent, and maybe buy a house in Dallas and rent it to someone else.
That's great advice.
Maybe buy a house in Florida. Keep building the real estate portfolio, but where it makes sense.
So then what's your perspective if somebody's looking at maybe, multi-unit properties? So all right, we're buying somewhere else. What's your thoughts on that?
You just need to know what you're doing. I mean, that's what we specialize in, and educating people on how to invest properly so that you never get stuck in another 2008. Now, back in 2008, when people were losing everything, our members were actually making money. Because if you understood what was happening, which was California was in a huge fat bubble, but there were other places that weren't, like Texas. Now, why did we know that Texas wasn't in a bubble in 2006 when every other market was? Because there was massive job growth, massive population growth, migration, and guess what? Not enough housing. And everyone thinks, oh, there's nothing but land in Texas, but it takes a long time to get land developed and have the resources and the utilities and everything. So just because there's land doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to all be developed. So we knew that people could sell their overpriced property and exchange it tax deferred through a 1031 exchange, so not even pay tax on all that gain, and buy in a market that's just at the beginning of its boom. So many of our members at Real Wealth Network got out of the crisis in time, got into a better market, got 4 to 5 times the cash flow they would have gotten in California,
Sure.
and only watch their equity grow. They didn't even feel a recession.
That's incredible. And so, when we always talk about empowering the American dream here, it doesn't, like you're saying, just have to mean your own residence and where you live. I love it. You're empowering really great ideas that are outside the box, but still could have such a huge advantage with where the market is today, where it could be tomorrow, looking at where we've been. And I love your advice on that. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing that today. I think our viewers are really going to gain something. And I hope they reach out to you to say, okay, how do we implement this? So that was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathy. We'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
Well, here's an exciting announcement for you. The American Dream has been a national show for a few years now, but we are reformatting everything. We're trying to keep up with the times, fast pace, run and gun, a lot of stuff happening in digital and social as well. We are going to trailblaze some new content and new distribution so you can catch it every week on the show, but also online. Coming up now is an example of a segment that you're going to see the new flavor of the American Dream. Let's check it out.
What I love most about San Diego is the pace. People move here because they know that life is short. You gotta live it in a place that recognizes that. I would always joke I can go from business suit to wetsuit in 15 minutes on a Friday afternoon. I think I've got it beat. I've got it down to about 12 minutes now. That's what living in San Diego is about. Today I'm going to take you guys to a property that we just put on the market in Sapphire Tower. This condo is probably one of the best properties, one of the best views in all of San Diego. On the way, we're going to pick something up special for the sellers. We're going to go to Donut Bar. Actually, it's here right now. Let's get some donuts. Could I get some creme brulee and then a Boston cream and a chocolate euphoria? I was gonna have a beer, but I think it's too early.
It's not too early, sir. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Thanks. When you're in downtown San Diego, you might walk right by it and think it's nothing, but the Donut Bar has been on USA Today, it's been on the Thrillist, it's been on TripAdvisor. This is probably one of the hottest donut bars in America, and we got it in our backyard. This penthouse listing is actually really personal to me because not only do we have a listing on one of the most expensive penthouses downtown San Diego, I was working on this project when I was 19 years old as an intern for the builder. So to come around 16 years later and have a listing of this caliber is something that really means a lot to us. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 3,000 square feet, but you're not just buying it because of the stats, you're buying it because of the materials, you're buying it because of the Sub-Zero commercial wine fridge, the Miele, the Wolf. All these materials are absolute top of the line, and for an affluent penthouse buyer, they're the units, materials that you would really want. The reason I would buy this property is this room right here. One of my favorite rooms in the penthouse is the master bedroom. It's got floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall windows. It overlooks over $2 trillion in downtown penthouse living. You can see out of this window to Mexico. You can see Coronado Islands in the San Diego Bay. I like to joke that this is a 50 Shades of Grey style penthouse. And I like to think that Christian Grey himself would love this one feature that he has right here. And this is a hidden staircase, in case you have guests that need to leave and hurry. The reality is for $3 million, you could buy a lot of house, right? But you can't replicate this view. That beach across the street, that's a white sand beach I surfed out this morning. For a local San Diegan, you're looking at basically the best of our city all in one shot. So as great as the inside of this property is, you realize that it takes all of it to make it one of the best properties in San Diego.
All right, and cut. Good job, guys.
We're done?
We're done.
You want a donut?
Yes.
Welcome back. Our next guest is from Denver. Please welcome back to the show, Cory Williams, full-service realtor and broker associate with Windermere Real Estate. Cory, it's great to have you back. How you doing today?
Living the dream. Thanks for having me again. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. Lovely to just hear that enthusiasm out of you. And I remember that your first appearance on The American Dream, you talked about that you had a background in construction. So how does that experience and that background in construction really help you now and your clients in real estate?
Thanks for asking. There's a couple things. I was considered a bags-on supervisor in the field in construction. And that meant that I filled in the gaps between the trades. So if a little bit of framing needed done here or trim work needed to be done there, I was there to fill in those gaps so everybody could work efficiently and effectively. So what I've done is I've taken that knowledge and that understanding of construction and I've brought it to life. Let me give you an example. So I had some clients and they said, listen, Cory, we want a property in this specific area. It has to meet these criteria and I'm not a handyman. So I don't want projects. I don't want things to do. I like my weekends. I like spending time at the pool. And so they said, find us a property with these parameters. So we looked at a couple and we, had some challenges as there were 10, 12, 15 offers on some of these properties. And so I identified a property in that neighborhood that met that criteria with one exception, and that was that the home needed everything. So it needed bathrooms, kitchens, floors, paint, trim, you name it. And so I was able to create a plan with that client where they then talked to their lender, got a construction loan. They never had to lift a finger. We got all of that work done. They got to pick all the finishes. They got to choose their cabinetry and their backsplash and their sinks and everything just the way that they wanted it. And they walked to the table with equity in probably the hottest market in the country. So that's a way that having that vision and really understanding exactly what needs to happen to get to the finish line is a major value to my clients. And I kind of call it building your real estate portfolio as you move forward.
Okay, I'm really intrigued by that term, real estate portfolio. Is that a concept that you really encourage your clients to consider?
I sure do. I think it's very interesting. People get their stock updates and they get their money market updates and all their investment updates. And a lot of people don't know what's going on with their home. So what I do is I really educate my clients and allow that knowledge from construction to be beneficial. I'll share another couple examples with you here. So I had a client and they said, hey, Cory, we got a quote on siding. We really want to change the siding on our home. So I walked through a few questions. How long will you be in the home? What's your next move? How much is the quote? And then I ran some numbers on comparables in that neighborhood, and I found out that that just simply was not a good idea to put siding on that home. And so they agreed. So, when we talk about building that real estate portfolio, it's really about making great decisions every step of the way so you're setting yourself up in the future. Right now, I have a client that is like, okay, well, we want to put an addition on. Maybe we want to pop the top. So I set them up with an architect. I set them up with a general contractor so they can exhaust those ideas, really put some numbers to it, and we can make a decision together what's best for their future. So building your real estate portfolio is one of the specialties I have, and that background in construction really helps me educate my clients as to the best decision moving forward.
I think that's just fantastic, honestly. And I know that you do have a listing as well that kind of ties in everything with the real estate portfolio. Can you talk about that quickly?
Absolutely. This listing is in the hottest neighborhood in Denver, in the heart of the Highlands. It's steps away from shops, restaurants. You could roll a golf ball downtown. I mean, literally, this place has it all. This client approached me about this time last year, and they've spent the last year building this home, essentially rehabbing it from scratch. So this property has all new electrical, mechanical, you name it, it's all brand new. Kitchens, bathrooms, you'll see some of these photos. This property is gorgeous. Feel free to contact me today to learn more about building your own real estate portfolio, or if we can get you to be one of Colorado's newest homeowners right here in the heart of Denver.
Sounds great, Cory. Thank you so much. And absolutely, if anybody's looking to really dive into the real estate portfolio, you are definitely their guy. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Have a great day.
You too. And you're watching The American Dream. We'll be right back.
Welcome to The American Dream. It is always fun when we get to talk to Jim Loveridge. He's a top producing agent with Wycroft Realtors. Always great to have you on the show, Jim.
Thank you, Amy. It's good to be here.
So, people are always talking about fix and flips or maybe just remodeling their home. What is your opinion if people are looking at remodeling or, doing additions and things like that? How do they look at their rate of return on that? Can you give me your opinion?
I sure can. I took the time this morning to kind of look up some statistics, and 97% of all statistics are made up on the spot. So with that being said, I'm going to give you some statistics on how this goes. The highest return on investment, believe it or not, is garage door. Garage door gives you almost 98% return on your investment. The next line down is if you add a front entry door, a new entry door, that's another in the 90% for return on your investment. A deck on the back of your home, another 90% return on your investment. Ironically, a change of the veneer on your house, so let's go from a siding to a stone veneer, is another 95% return on your investment. All of these are on the outside of the home, so you're kind of seeing a pattern here where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. I push my people very hard to update their homes on the outside also, not just inside. They're standing out there. That curb appeal plays a huge factor in getting you top market price. Ironically, a minimum kitchen update is an 87% return on your investment. Now, all of these statistics are taken off of people hiring retail people to do it. If you are handy and you can do it yourself and not make it look like crap, then you're going to be able to get a higher return on your investment. So, some people took a Home Depot class and they should never touch a saw. Then there's other people that actually have some skills. So you need to weigh that out with how your work is. But I would say anything you do to your home to improve it, especially in a market when it starts to slow down, is worth every penny of time. Not to mention you made it nice for yourself.
Well, I know that you happen to have a motivated seller right now and who probably has a property that they did the great facelift. They took your advice. They're ready to sell. It's ready to find the right buyer. You've got 12239 Village Circle, Thornton. Why don't you share that with us right now?
I do. We actually did go into that house. We recarpeted, repainted it, redid the hardwood, and just freshened the home up for the market so that we'd be compatible. It was in some rough shape before we did it, but it looks beautiful now and it's ready for a family to take over. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, around 2,300 square feet with an unfinished basement of 1,000 square feet with a nice yard. It's a beautiful home. We're just waiting for the right buyer to come along. I'm sure it'll sell pretty quick.
I hope it does. I'm sure that the right family is going to find that right away. Jim, you're such a great expert for us on the show. You're such a delight. Thank you so much for coming in and giving great insight today.
Oh, no problem. It's good seeing you. Thank you, Amy. Have a good day.
Great to see you as well. You're watching The American Dream, and we'll be right back with more. Welcome back to The American Dream. Excited to make this next introduction a special topic close to my heart. I'm sure the viewers are going to love this as well. We have Shawna Bellendir. This is her first time with us today. She is a military relocation specialist and also an established real estate professional with Sale State Ace Realty. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's great to be here.
It is great to have you, and I love this topic, so I want to dive in. But for our viewers, if you could just explain what is military relocation and why you've chosen to specialize in it. Just explain that a little bit.
Well, as a wife of a retired Air Force vet and a mother of a son who is an Army infantryman getting ready for his first deployment, I do know firsthand the needs that our military vets and current active duty are dealing with in moving across country, PCSing from base to base and from house to house with their family or even by themselves. So knowing that firsthand, I try to help them like I would my own family, like I would my own son or my husband when we have to go through those kinds of things.
I always share that it is the entire family that serves. And truly, you're the example of that by having your husband, your son, but the whole family serves. So when it comes to relocation, that is such a big deal. And I'm so glad that you've come on to talk about this. Do you have to be uniquely qualified? And what makes you uniquely qualified to be a relocation specialist besides just having your heart in it?
Yeah, definitely having your heart in it is probably the most important, I think. But yes, there is a certification and a designation that we do wear, very proudly, I might add, that allows us to be a military relocations professional. A lot of it is verbiage and knowing, you know, what the government calls a TDY or a PCS or, you know, a DD-214 and all of the lovely acronyms that go with military knowledge, and having that knowledge base is probably the most important because you can talk to somebody on a real level. I tend to do a lot of FaceTiming showings and showing people through YouTube or through different, you know, technology bases, the different homes that are available to them, and they might go, yeah, that looks okay, I guess, and we go with it. And then it's up to me, and I pray every day that it's the house of their dreams, and luckily it has been.
Well, I can tell your heart is in it, and you're right, it is its own special language. You have to speak the language of understanding just the entire military community and what they go through, what their needs are, what the forms are, what the titles are, and you clearly understand that. I'm sure that you are a complete added value to the military personnel from your background, your own experience, and your expertise in this matter. Why don't you share with us briefly, I know you have a listing that could be a perfect fit. If you could share with us briefly what that listing is so that they can come check it out.
Yeah, I have a great 3-bedroom, 3-bath stucco ranch. It's just over 2,000 square feet. It has a 2-car garage. It's pretty close to all of the military bases in Colorado Springs. It's out of Peyton, and it's listed at $278,000. Very, very beautiful home, low maintenance, and very close to wherever any of our military needs to be.
Oh, I just love it. Shawna, on behalf of American Dream TV, we want to say thank you for your family service and for all of those that you're serving to make a difference, empowering their American dream and home ownership while they're serving and going through so much. And thank you for being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy. It's been great to be here.
Make sure and follow us on social media, and we'll be right back with more of the American Dream.
Introducing S1 Connect by Synergy One Lending, a company committed to making your home buying experience easy and convenient. S1 Connect is the best way to simplifying your home buying experience so that you can get your dream home faster. Whether you're a baby boomer, a millennial, or a luxury home buyer, S1 Connect offers you the opportunity to receive real-time notifications about your home loan so that you're informed every step of the way. Apply for a loan from anywhere. Compare various loan scenarios to help determine which product best fits your needs. Track your home loan progress with real-time notifications. Safely and securely upload loan documents from your mobile device. And have instant access to your loan officer and real estate agent. Basically, we're all about speed, ease, and expertise at Synergy One, so download the S1 Connect app today. To learn more about S1 Connect, visit us at s1lending.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to find out everything we have going on at Synergy One Lending.
Welcome back to the show. Next up, our guest is Michael Dye, who is a loan officer with Synergy One Lending. Michael, welcome back to the American Dream. Great to have you today.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We love talking with all of our Denver folks, and you are definitely one of those as well, and especially covering everything kind of financial. So today I know that we'll talk a little bit about credit. And so first of all, what does FICO stand for?
FICO stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation. And what they do is they specialize in what's called predictive analytics. And what they do is they gather a bunch of credit information and they create a score for the borrower, and what is shared with the lender to help them predict the consumer's behavior, such as, if the borrower will pay their pay their bills on time, or if they won't pay them at all, right?
Right. So, and those two, and kind of anywhere in between, I would imagine, and over the time that they've had credit as well. So how does a credit score really affect the chances of, one, getting a good interest rate, and then two, getting a good loan program?
You know what? It does play a major role in getting, and the interest rate. And it also has something to do with how much a consumer or borrower, if you will, is willing to put down as a down payment. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have loan level price adjustments that are in place. based on a borrower's credit score. So it can affect the borrower's interest rate up to 1% or more, depending on how low, that borrower's credit score is. So my thing is always get a borrower pre-approved and have everything reviewed, especially their credit, so that way they know what's coming ahead of time and not later.
Okay. Now, if you have somebody, let's say, who has a lower credit score, but they really want to try to get a good interest rate as possible or loan program as well, are there things that you encourage for them to do to either elevate that score or give a certain amount of time before they do try to get a loan?
Well, absolutely. When they're looking at things as far as on revolving credit, which is credit card bills and such, they want them to be at 33% or less to get the most out of that credit score. At Synergy One, we also do some great things to help increase a borrower's credit score if it's a little bit lower. We're able to go ahead and analyze that and help them and let borrowers know what might need to be paid off to make a deal work and give them favorable interest rate.
Absolutely, because we all know that interest rate is so important as far as how much somebody is actually going to be paying.
Absolutely. That's what one of the predominant, most important things that are for a consumer, right, is what their interest rate is and, how much extra are they going to be paying over the life of that loan.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like Synergy One has a lot of good programs and education for consumers to be aware of and to work with. And before I let you go, is there a certain number or a range of credit scores that you think people should really try to aspire to have?
When we're looking at things, A+ credit is 740 and above. But we work with borrowers with 600 and sometimes below 600 scores. So the best thing is actually to get in and talk with your professional lender and have them help you out and give you advice. It might take you a little bit longer as far as a couple months or 3 to 6 months, but at least we can get you on the right track to home ownership, which is the ultimate goal here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for all of that information. Definitely anybody should come into your office and have a nice conversation with you about this to get the ball rolling. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.
That's all for today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. Starting next week, we got a whole new format and look for you. It's going to be run and gun, fast-paced, really, really exciting stuff. Call it American Dream 2.0. We're launching on Apple, Amazon, and Roku. If you want to learn more about the show, you want to follow us and breathe oxygen into this positive message, make sure you visit us online. That's all for today. Next week, an exciting show coming your way. Hope you can check it out. See you next week.